Okay, imagine for a moment. Think about a world where the most secretive, most advanced nation we know of had secret agents, covert operatives influencing, well, huge historical events, leaving their fingerprints on ancient battles, on figures you read about in myths. What are those stories? What if they had a vibranium twist?
It's quite a thought, isn't it? That behind, the history we think we know,
Hmm.
there were these hidden players, Wakandans shaping things from the shadows, and the rest of the world just had no idea.
Well, that's exactly what we're diving into today. The brand new Marvel Studios animated series, Eyes of Wakanda, Unseen Histories of the War Dogs.
Yeah.
And this isn't just another spin-off. It's actually the very first series kicking off MCU Phase 6.
Yeah, big deal.
It's designed specifically to, well, expand Wakanda's story, right? To
Yeah.
really peel back the curtain on those elite agents, the Hattusilims, the War Dogs.
And what grabs you immediately, I think, is the look of it. It's got this incredible hand-painted animation style. You can really see the inspiration from artists like Ernie Barnes, that contemporary African-American art influence.
Oh, absolutely.
It gives it this really specific, really cool Afrofuturist feel,
Yeah.
blending tradition and future tech. It's visually stunning.
It really is. Credit to Todd Harris, the creator, and obviously Marvel Studios Animation, working with Ryan Coogler's Proximity Media. Access Animation did the heavy lifting on the visuals. So our mission, our goal with this deep dive is pretty simple. Pull out the most important bits of insight from this series. We want to explore how it, connects Wakanda's secret past to the bigger MCU picture. And it does it with this amazing look and some pretty deep themes. So think of this as your quick guide, your shortcut to understanding why Eyes of Wakanda is making waves. We'll hit the surprising facts, the stuff that'll get you thinking.
Exactly. It's like looking at history, but through a completely new Wakandan filter.
Okay, so let's unpack it. Eyes of Wakanda, it's an anthology, right?
4 episodes.
And each one is basically its own story, set in a different time period.
Right. But the common thread is these Wakandan agents, the war dogs, on missions, usually to get back vibranium artifacts that have somehow ended up outside Wakanda.
Which happens more than you'd think, apparently.
Seems so. And what's clever is, while it definitely ties into Black Panther, the movies, the whole MCU, it's also built so you can just jump in. You don't need, like, an encyclopedia of Marvel knowledge.
Though, if you are a longtime fan...
Oh, yeah, you'll catch all sorts of connections. How it subtly shifts things we thought we knew about the timeline.
We mentioned the animation, how unique it is. But this anthology format, how does that help explore Wakanda's influence? Not just like when things happen, but the why and the how.
Well, it's a really effective way to do it. By jumping around in time, ancient past, more recent history, the show keeps hitting these core ethical questions Wakanda always face. Like, take the first episode, Legends and Lies. It goes way, way back. Trojan War, maybe 1200 BC. Yeah. We follow this Wakandan agent, Bakai. He's undercover as Memnon trying to snag an artifact from Troy. And he runs into, Achilles, Odysseus, even Helen.
That's wild, just putting Wakanda right in the middle of Homeric legend. When you think about that, Wakanda involved in the Trojan War, what's the biggest takeaway for you? What does that imply?
For me, it's comment. It really highlights how keeping secrets on that scale, even if you think you're doing good, it creates these incredibly complex moral knots for the nation itself. You see Bakai trying to navigate Trojan politics, figuring out how much Wakanda can interfere without blowing their cover. It makes you ask, should that kind of power always stay hidden? Or is revealing it eventually maybe necessary, part of taking responsibility on a global stage?
That definitely adds a huge layer to their history. But, okay, here's a question. If Wakandan agents are popping up in so many big historical moments, does that risk making the MCU world feel a bit small? Like everything important secretly traces back to Wakanda?
That's a fair question. It's a potential pitfall, for sure. But I think the series handles it pretty well by keeping the focus tight. It's about vibranium. They're not saying Wakanda caused the Trojan War or whatever else. They're saying when vibranium got out into the world, that's when the war dogs showed up.
Okay, so it's specific interventions, not just general meddling.
Exactly. Like another episode, Lost and Found. That jumps forward to 1400 AD. An agent named Basha goes to Kunlun,
the mystical city, Iron Fist's home.
The very same, to get another vibranium artifact, and she ends up fighting the Iron Fist of that era and someone named Jirani. So, connect that dot. Wakanda's reach isn't just history, it's extending into the mystical side of the MCU, too.
Right, so it's not just cameos in history books. It's about how getting these artifacts back shaped Wakanda's own values, their ethics. The series hits some heavy themes, doesn't it? Duty, sacrifice.
Hmm.
That whole tension between Wakandan tradition and their futuristic tech, and the legacy of vibranium itself, plus the moral gray areas of intervening in world affairs. Was there one specific dilemma that really stood out to you? Did it make you rethink anything about Wakanda?
Oh, definitely. It constantly pushes on that conflict between Wakanda staying isolated to protect itself versus the impact its technology could have or did have secretly. You see war dogs having to make these impossible choices. Who do they save? Which historical event do they let play out, even if they could change it with their tech? It really drove home for me that secrecy, even with good intentions, carries this immense weight of potential screw-ups, of unintended consequences. It's not just setting up the Black Panther movies, it's running alongside them, showing us the hidden side of that power through history.
Which makes it feel really relevant, to today's debates about tech, about global power, about intervention. And the show doesn't shy away from that complexity. That's why people are praising it, right? The visuals, yes, but also the gutsy storytelling across eras, the mature themes.
Yeah, each episode feels different. One's like an ancient epic, another's more like a spy thriller, then you get supernatural adventure.
And all wrapped in that gorgeous hand-painted animation, that Afro-futurist style we talked about, really emphasizes the culture and artistry.
And importantly for the hardcore fans, unlike some other Marvel animation projects, Eyes of Wakanda is confirmed canon. It's part of the main MCU's sacred timeline.
That's a big plus. People want to know how it all fits.
Definitely. All 4 episodes dropped August 1st, 2025 on Disney Plus. Rated TV 14, by the way.
Good to know. And for those who love hunting for details.
Oh, it's packed. Easter eggs everywhere, references to Wakanda's history in the movies, nods to world mythology. It feels like it's doing more than just filling in blanks. It's subtly setting things up, maybe, building connections for what's next in the MCU, all while digging into those big questions about vibranium and secrecy.
It really makes you wonder, like you said, how many other moments in history might have had a secret Wakandan angle we just don't know about.
Absolutely. It kind of makes you want to reread your history books with a what-if lens.
So recapping a bit,
Hmm.
Eyes of Wakanda gives us this really fresh perspective on MCU history.
Hmm.
It's not just showing us the war dogs in action, it's doing it with this unique visual style, this anthology structure that lets them jump from, say, the Trojan War all the way to Kunlun.
Mm-hmm. It really feels like essential viewing if you care about the Black Panther side of the universe. It adds so much depth to the vibranium legacy and the moral tightropes Wakanda walked for centuries.
Yeah, it deepens that whole conversation about power, secrecy, intervention,
Mm-hmm.
connecting it to real-world stuff we grapple with. It works great just watching it on its own, but it's also clearly a key piece of Phase 6, expanding that main timeline. And yeah, loaded with those little details for fans.
Absolutely rewards paying close attention.
Okay, so here's the big question to leave you with, something to really chew on. We now know Wakanda has this incredibly long, secret history, influencing world events, retrieving powerful artifacts. How does knowing that, knowing these unseen histories, how might that change how we see Wakanda's future, their responsibilities now that they're out in the open, and maybe even deeper? What does it mean for any nation, really, to have to reconcile that kind of hidden past while holding so much power, so much potential to shape the future?
That's the core of it, isn't it? Heavy questions.
Definitely something to think about.